Something that I don't think women appreciate enough is that men are extremely competitive. And the reason why I bring this up is because a lot of times I hear in society how people judge men and um, they put them down a lot. They throw a lot of weird words around. Like, they accuse men of being narcissistic. Um, if a man has an opinion, he's mansplaining, things like that. I'm not a red pill type of person. I'm not the type of person that's like, women are trash and men are always right. I'm not that kind of person at all. But I will say I grew up in a patriarchal environment. And that puts me in a really rare position because one thing I got to see growing up is how men naturally have like a hierarchy. So, what I mean by that is some guys know when they're interacting with a guy that's on a higher level than them. Now, for most women, they might feel like, oh, we're all equal, we're all people, but that's not how that works. For example, if you got a guy who's fat and he likes a girl, and there's a guy who's like fit, like he's in shape, he likes the same girl, you know where this is going. The guy who's fat, he know he has to do something to compensate for the fact that he's fat, right? Now, from the woman's perspective, it's easy for most women to be like, "Oh, I don't want the fat boy. He can't run," right? Uh, and on the flip side, from the guys, like let's say, if you got fat, and then you got this other guy over here built like, I don't know, Terry Crews, whatever. He in shape. He doing good for himself, right? And if the fat guy really want the girl, what he has to do is figure out how he can get the edge off from the fit guy. If that girl is really that valuable, right? And so fat guy might know, losing weight that's gonna take a minute, but I know that guy who's in shape, he ain't got no job. He finds something, is my point. Now, I know on the flip side, women be like, oh, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, whatever. But from my experience, from what I've seen in growing up around men who run everything, that does not work. This mentality that you can just kind of do whatever you want and everybody should accept you for who you are. Women, we've got the luxury of constantly being patted and pandered to where even when we know we don't make you know what? I'll even say this. We don't even think about, as women, we don't even think about what it takes to make the cut. A lot of times we be thinking like transactional. For example, like since I went to college, I should be able to get a job. And there are a lot of people who hire women just so they can check a box, or and I'm even speaking from experience. Like, I know I've had jobs because of, like, at the time there was like affirmative action and then it became DEI, but a lot of times I would get picked over black men just so they could be able to say, oh, we hired somebody black. I have been racially profiled by the police. I have been harassed by the police before. And everything de-escalate when they see that F on my driver's license that I'm female and not male. So there's like a completely different world that women live in. And what I'm talking about could be considered barbaric to a lot of people. But it really is like that for men. There is no, oh, you're cute, so you can get by, or, oh, nice tits, you can get by, or, I really like how you put your outfit together, and I would like to have you come in for an interview. Not for men. And it goes not just for like employment, but dating prospects as well. Like women, we are brutal. What I've heard women say about men, how they've put men down and things like that. I remember I saw this video of a guy that was talking about how he wanted his wife to stay in shape. And he wasn't even saying, I don't want this big pork chop eating. He didn't even go there. He was just talking about how he cared about this woman's health, and the whole internet broke. You know, um, I guess because this whole thing is, I've heard women say, after we get married, we can let ourselves go. And then those same kind of women that says stuff like that get upset when they get cheated on. Not that I'm saying if you let yourself go, it's okay for you to get cheated on. I'm just saying, on the flip side, just think of it the other way. If a man worked his hardest to get a woman, let's say if he got a really good job, he's making really good money, right? And he marries the woman, and he goes, oh, I got her now. I don't need to work no more. Oh, that would be a whole uproar. There would be a whole problem. Now, I'm not against the fact that there should be a double standard. I think that men should be held to a higher regard than women. I think that because I believe that men are the ones who get down on one knee. I think men are the ones who put their name on the family. Therefore, the burden is higher for them. However, to relieve women completely of even basic adult responsibilities, I think that's kind of out of the question. I think that's irrational, and I think it's very common for people to just, what's the word? Absolve women just because they're women. Kind of went on a segue there. Let me get back. So, men, they're competitive. And everybody who's under them is kind of like under this umbrella. Let's go back to the fat guy and fit guy. Okay. The way you take care of your body is an indication of how you think of yourself to some extent, right? Not really major extent, but let's just go with it. Let's say the fit guy, his thing is he takes care of his body because he cares about his image and he cares about his health. He cares about longevity. Versus the fat guy, right? He might care about his image too, but the way that he think of physical health is way more liberal than, like, let's say the fit guy. It's just evident. You can see it, right? So for the fit guy, his thing is when he's looking at a woman, of course he's gonna prefer a woman that share his values. I think all men pretty much do that. And so with that being said, the woman that's under him, he expects for her to move a certain way. Just like the fat guy, all men are like this. I mean, being a man is rigorous. And then it gets to the point where you're talking about other relationships, like his family members, and then particularly his children, things of that nature. I think that women deeply underestimate how much they represent their men. Where to go with this? It's like when a man is serious about anything, whatever he put his hands to or whoever he deals with is an indication of who he is. And I've seen situations where men kind of do things. Like I have a lot of brothers, male cousins, a lot of male friends, and they smash any chick, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, but as far as who they claiming and who they choosing, that's a completely different story. Because, nature is a man, like he's gonna have a good time. If she's for a good time, he's for a good time. But when it comes to who's gonna sit in my house, who's gonna raise my children, who's gonna carry my name, that's a completely different conversation. Like for me, I grew up with men, so like to me it's like duh. But I'm starting to realize at the same time, a lot of women, this is like news to them. Um, but it's so funny because on the flip side, as a woman, I don't want to be with any guy that I don't want sunshine to hit us. And I know how to put it. Like, if I'm working real hard, if I'm ambitious, if I'm outgoing, I don't want to be with no lazy dude. I don't want to be, if I'm putting myself together, if I'm going out, things like that. I don't want to be with some guy who just threw on a dirty shirt. Same respect, well, really, a higher respect for men. Like, for a woman, I think it's easier for us to maneuver. As a man, there are no handouts. There are no um, nobody being understanding, nobody feeling sorry for you. Nobody's coming to save anybody, but nobody's definitely saving a man. If a man got a bunch of kids and he can't take care of them, he shouldn't have had them. He should have had the means to take care of them kids. That's as far as society goes. Like, he's a deadbeat automatically. If a woman has a bunch of kids, oh my God, she's a damsel in distress. World spins differently. And I think when women are highly critical of men, they don't think, they don't know. I think they're completely ignorant of what men actually go through.